Why, it's the Adamcarolla subreddit, subforum, whatever you want to call it. It's the Oliver Burrow post. This post prompted me to actually go on to adamcarolla.com and listen to the first half hour of the first podcast. It ended about half hour through. That's when Gina took over. Apparently, she has a theme song and then did the news. So I turned it off because she called somebody a fucktard or something, like the shooter or something. She called them whatever. That's how she started off. I was like, all right, this, she cannot be listened to. I agree with you all about Gina. She's just ear poison. Anyway, so what I will say though is that the Oliver Burrow segment was highly listenable, and I have to kind of take on some people on this board because we all know about complaining, right? We're complainers. Adam's a complainer. His fans are complainers, so they complain about Adam. You guys are, complaining about something that I don't think is warranted when you actually listen to the podcast. So the first half hour, yeah, it was pretty list. You know what? I even laughed in the part where the dog was vomiting everywhere, and he was talking about that. And by the way, Adam's driving Lynette's Tesla. I love that. I love that when you're getting divorced and you're driving your spouse's car because he's got car trouble. I had that happen to me once too. My car like broke down, and I'm like, my ex. I'm like, I don't have a car. She's like, you can have mine. I'm like, well, you weren't this nice when we were married. Like, I don't get it. Anyway, so it's funny. So podcast was listenable. I laughed once. I didn't laugh too much during the Oliver Burrow segment, but I will say this: it was informative, and it is a guest that can dance, not like Ellen and not like Bill Cosby, but can dance intellectually. And so what everyone is piling on about is this one area where Adam brings up Hunter Biden's laptop, which this guy says he originally wrote about Hunter Biden being on the board of a Ukrainian company, which is one of the reasons why they keep talking about Hunter Biden. But then he shoots it down and he's like, I don't understand what this is all about. And then Adam actually goes, yeah, a lot of the news about Hunter Biden comes out of England. And I think one thing I'd like to speculate on here is just pure speculation on my part, but is like, Adam probably saying that a lot of the reporting about Hunter Biden comes out of England is because he's thinking, oh, the crooked media in the US, the biased media isn't bringing up Hunter Biden's laptop. So because, they're pro Biden, right? So we have to go to international sources to get that information. That's one way to think about it. But there's another way to think about it. And it didn't really come out of Oliver's mouth, but I thought about it, which is, well, when you are paying to put news stories out, especially that are defaming a different country, you sometimes you'll do it in media in different countries. So like, because this entire book and segment kind of is about how Great Britain or people in England are willing to take and launder money and actively launder money for really bad people and mobsters. And they use some of the Russians as an example when they talk a little bit about Russia in this interview, is that, well, it's not just the bankers that are taking money. It's also people in the media that are taking money, right? Like there's some really awful, types of British media that are completely ridiculous. Is it Daily Mail or something? I don't want to say which one it is because I don't actually know, but some of them are just ridiculous. So the answer could have been that, yeah, the people that are trying to smear Biden from afar maybe have to do it in British media because the laws are different and it's difficult in the US because what they're pushing probably isn't accurate. It's another answer to that. Anyway, so you guys are jumping on Adam as if he got crushed and as if like, I just didn't feel that. I felt like Adam was actually reading some questions that he had and was actually trying to learn. Nobody was disrespectful. Everything was cool and it was pretty informative. So this is the kind of guess, if you're going to go political, this was not a right-wing guy for sure. No way. He's pointing out some things that are going on that enable criminal behavior and moving of money and taking of bribes and such makes us all less safe. And so there was a discussion about sanctions. There was actually a lot of stuff. I was doing other work and I had like an hour and got through a half hour and honestly it was fine, guys. Hey, baby butters, what's up? Who shit on my, what are you talking about? Was this a joke responding to somebody or did you actually listen to this? Dude does a beautiful explanation of Russia and Adam's response is, well, I don't know anything about world finance, but I do know a lot about psychology. I missed this part. All this stuff that we're jumping on Adam in this thread, It was not bad. Yeah, and exactly. I decided to listen. I posted this 8 hours ago. It took me 8 hours to actually sit down and listen. It's not some earth shattering. Some people around here need to relax. It's just funny. Yeah, you're exactly right, OP. It's exactly what I thought after listening to it. So coming from within, when Adam and people on the associated with the show complain about the board being out of control and ridiculous and unreasonable. Well, this thread got me to listen and download, and I don't think Adam was bad there. And I had to turn it off when Gina started the news. So clearly Gina is miserable. You guys are right about Gina. Everybody's right about Gina. But the rest of this was fine. And this guy's cool. Another guy I would do a podcast with. Super informative, super just, hello. Why that? Here in Great Britain, where I was the first one to write about Hunter Biden. Oh, were you, Oliver? I mean, could there be a more British name? Oliver Burno. Sir Oliver Burno. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, just a quick podcast because I wanted to, because it's so rare I listen, and I actually got some work done while listening. That's what Adam's good for. He's good for putting out content every day. And if you're doing something else, you can listen to him in the background. That's the way it works. All right. The rest, the Gina Carano stuff, like MMA, that ain't me. But if they put up a podcast in the first half hour with very, very limited ads, I didn't hear a lot of ads at all. It was listenable. There wasn't, he didn't say, hey, we're going to be back after this. It was straight to that. So, all right, guys, that's view on weed. I understand that smoking weed sunrise to sunset can be detrimental to one's quality of life. Here. But Adam sure likes to generalize based off of the actions of a few. Rogan is quick to say weed in any form can have adverse consequences for a certain population. I don't know. We don't have a discussion about weed. We had a discussion about British aristocrats and oligarchs. The person who wrote the show thread, this new employee, and who's scheduling this guy, right? This is not a right-wing guy they schedule. It's an interesting choice of guest. I don't know. Okay with what happened here. That was listenable podcast, sounded professional. So you get the thumbs up from Ken Bergman over here, and I'm not going to complain as much as I usually do today. All right, guys. Enjoy all your podcasts. Be listenable.